To be honest with you, I'm not too sure if we are progressing as a democracy or not. I mean, in some of these things, whilst maybe in the interim, it sort of scores some kind of political points, and it feeds into a certain populism and all of that. I don't see how it helps in the long run in terms of how we govern this country. You have an individual like Kofi Jumah, who you can actually pick up a phone and call and say that appear at the nearest police station or whatever, or come to this particular security agency because a certain complaint has been made about you, and he will turn up. You know, so this whole pension, I mean, it's almost like like it's become the MO of this current administration of sending people with guns and pickups and all sorts of things, creating a certain sense that these individuals are even going to resist arrest, you know, and I mean, they razzmatazz and they sort of whatever that comes with it. It's something that I'm extremely uncomfortable with. You know, you see, we are all one people, right? And sometimes some of these relationships, and he's my friend, he's NDC, I'm MPP. You know, it can happen that our kids go to the same school, we go to the same church, we go to the same mosque, we went to the same schools together, you know.
Like
so, yeah, exactly, like our base. You know, and if over there, we don't even discuss politics, right? And so for me, I think that we have to be very careful if we really want to heal this country. And it even dovetails into something that happened yesterday. Yesterday was Martyrs' Day, you remember, right? And a lot of things have happened in this country where maybe some of the very young people, the Gen Zs do not even have a certain appreciation of. We've come from a very long way. And it doesn't mean that if somebody has done something that is criminal or you deem it to be necessary for that person to be investigated, or somebody has been given a public office and they're supposed to account for their stewardship. They're not supposed to do that. But there's a certain finesse that comes with it, you know, but we are behaving as if that we are in some, it's almost as if there's like some kind of a jungle and let's try and get, and for me, I think that sometimes it's a bit unnecessary. To be honest with you, I have absolutely no qualms with people being given positions of authority and being asked to account for it. But you see, it's also the inconsistency, right? And sometimes the media, you're a bit too lax when it comes to these things. Maybe when new governments come into office, maybe there's a certain perception that there's some goodwill or people want to be in their good books and all that. Because you see, you have to question the consistency. You have persons who have been taken through a judicial process, and a government comes into power, decides to go to court and even cause a nullity procedure to be instituted, so that these people, regardless of what the allegations are, would be acquitted of whatever it is. And that same administration is using the same justification to go after people who are not part of their political leanings, claiming that some corrupt actions. So in one breath, those actions by an administration that was duly, voted for, and have gone through a judicial process were persecutions. However, these ones are prosecutions. Now, when you do that, over a long term, the people lose some faith even in the political leadership that we have in this country, the political systems, that it becomes almost as if that there's an MPP, NDC way of governing this country. But we have to govern. Yeah, but the point I'm trying to make, that we have to govern this country in a way that is anchored in some certain values and principles, so that it is not on the whims and caprices of certain individuals, or if you are in government, yes, we want to make sure that the Constitution is followed to the letter. But if you are out of government, we will criticize. And I can take certain examples even from our side as a political party where we've done over the period. But is that what we want to do, I mean, in 2025? You know, and so for me, yes, Kofi Jumah, I don't know the details of the matter. He claims to have been in possession of these vehicles legally, and he would have his day in court and all that. And there's nothing wrong with that for any well-meaning, well-thinking Ghanaian. But I mean, a 70-something-year-old man. So you go into his house with guns, and you understand what I'm saying? Invite him. Now, because he can activate a legal process where he's invited, he doesn't turn up, you go to court to get a warrant and all of those things. So what is this about? I mean, I've never seen that before. Honestly speaking, I mean, the justification that in times past it had happened, and so we are basically continuing what at a certain point in time
events.
We actually also spoke against, right? So at what point would we actually say that, listen, all of these things are important. There's definitely a need for accountability. However, there has to be a certain sense of finesse. I mean, if you go into somebody's home and the little children there or whatever, these are things that can scar them forever. And this is an individual that is not hard to find.
Then you was picked up without footwear.
Exactly. What is the point? I mean, that's what I'm saying, that apart from there being some kind of trying to retribution or trying to exert some kind of even vendetta, to be honest with you, I don't see how, unless of course it's somebody who, one, is a flight risk, is dangerous and is known to be carrying weapons and arms and all of those things. But apart from that, all these public officials and people, and even ordinary Ghanaians, should not be subjected to some of these things. Yeah, as far as that's my view on this particular matter. So, in terms of the substance of the issue, I have absolutely no information on that. But if he claims that he has legal possession of these things, it will go through a court process, and then the court will decide. But even in some of these things, I mean, that's why there's even the issue of discretion. So if you feel that the individual, Kihawk has made an allegation that these vehicles have been stolen, some investigations should be done. I mean, is it the case that at every point in time an investigation is done, the person has to be arrested before the investigation? I mean, it's a bit, you know what I'm saying?